By the pricking of my thumbs, something witchy this way comes. Ill winds mark its fearsome flight, and autumn branches creak with fright. The landscape turns to ashen crumbs when something witchy this way comes. Crystal water turns to dark where'er its presence leave its mark, and boiling currents pound like drums when something witchy this way comes. A presence dark invades the fair and gives the horses ample scare, for chaos reigns and panic numbs when something witchy this way comes. So welcome and good evening, everybody, to Something Witchy. Goodness, I don't even know the name of my show tonight. I'm just so excited. I have a wonderful guest for you tonight. Lady Amythyst Raine is here with me, and we're going to be talking about some wonderful, fun stuff. Um, Hello, Amethyst, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Oh, no, it's absolutely my pleasure. I know I've been trying to get you on one of my shows for a while. For you folks that do not know who Lady Amethyst Raine is, she's an author and a spiritual feminist, a mother, a witch, a tarotist. She writes books on witchcraft, the tarot, feminine spirituality, and more. She blogs. She's a pagan activist, a holistic healer through crystals and stones. She's also a, what is the word? Crazy cat lady and conjure woman, and a chocoholic. And she collects so much stuff too. She is just a wonderful person all around, and I'm very happy to call her friend to begin with. But she's also a wonderfully wonderful pagan person to know. I've got a list of websites and blog spots and things that I will be posting up. She's got a wonderful blog called Every Cat Has a Tail. And it's her personal blog, but it has everything from everyday life and dilemmas and good things and crazy things and rants and, inspirational stuff, videos. It's a wonderful blog to follow, and I will make sure everybody gets the link to that, plus all these other things. Magical Connections is another witchy pagan blog spot. Then she has her full pagan website full of really witchy pagan stuff, and it's called The Witch's Corner. And it's absolutely phenomenal. Um, Goodness, what else do I want to talk about you? I just love you to death. All right, I've got her books. One of them is Tarot, A Witch's Journey. If I could speak, it would be great. And then she's got one called Tarot for Grown-ups. And that one's really, the perspective that she puts on things. People say, oh, well, you got to be gifted to learn, read tarot and stuff like this. Between these two books, they teach you how to learn. It's something you can turn on. Everybody can do it. But, these books are great. They're available at Amazon. I will also have those links. The other book that I absolutely love are the Grey Witches books. She's got the Grey Witch's Grimoire and then Natural Magic, the Grey Witch Way. And then her newer book is The Spiritual Feminist. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Absolutely.
I get confused because, they're all so good that, it doesn't matter to me. I love them all. So, I want to again welcome everybody to the show. And is there anything I missed? Anything you want to tell the people about?
No, you really pretty much covered it. I would like to point out that the spiritual feminist isn't about feminism in itself. It's about the goddess and woman's connection with the goddess and our connection and our interaction and our growth between ourselves and with each other.
And
Just to clarify if there's any misconception there, because I use the word feminist in the title.
right, and that's good. Thank you for clearing that up because I know that there would be some people that would be like, they're
Yeah.
gonna whine about it. I mean, that's just the way it is because it sounds, yeah.
It's
But
not, it's actually even full of my holiday recipes. It's about as down to earth, kitschy, witchy, mommy as you can get. So it just
absolutely,
connects with the higher powers that all women need.
and absolutely we do. That's a very important factor. in our spiritual path. To have that connection, it's something that um, I think we all strive for in our private lives to really make that connection. And I know that book has got some wonderful information and I don't want to say secrets because it's not really secrets, but it's more like you know an overview on how you can find your connection with your goddess and stuff like that. So it's a wonderful book, guys. So I will make sure you have the links for that as well after that. So, excuse me. I got you on the show tonight because there's a whole lot going on around us these days, right? Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. And so I wanted to kind of go a little bit tarot on this. And talk a little bit about tarot. And I know that you do a lot of readings. And I absolutely, positively love your YouTube astrology monthly astrological readings. And those knock me on my tail every time.
Those are so fun to do. And I started that last September. And that's for your sun sign, moon sign, or rising sign, by the way. And I just started it, and I thought that I would do it for a year and see how the connections came out, if it really worked, and if people enjoyed them. And it's amazing that it does connect with people on so many levels. And once in a while, I'll be getting a reading that, even though I'm doing it for a general audience, it's just gets really personal and kind of strange. I've had that, and it's like at first I wasn't going to go that route. So I was going to try to stay very general, but it was very insistent. So I said what I had to say, and lo and behold, there's always somebody out there that needed to hear that. It's like, wow, this was for us, and thank you. And so I'm just kind of letting it flow and letting it go where it goes. And if I still get good responses from this come September, when it will be a year that I started, I will continue.
I absolutely think you should. Even if you just do mine, it would be great. Well, I love mine. You nail it all the time. And the thing about from a perspective of a person that's just listening to these, they are a general reading, but like you said, some of those things pop up, and I really think that whoever listens to it, they're going to know what part of that message is for them because the whole reading may not be. But there will be that thing in there that goes, you know. And I know that I found them that way, that, when I was going through stuff, and some of the reading was kind of general and maybe for some other people. But when you got to something that, just was, I got a Gibbs slap on the back of my head because, yeah, that was mine. And I knew it was for me. And I think that's why those are resonating with people so well. It's because you're just and I love the fact that it's on video and that we're watching you do that. It makes it so much more personal. And the whole thing is, we see the process. We see how things are coming to you. And it's not like just rote, like you're reading out of a book, because some of those things that are doing those things, it just seems so memorized. And yours, you can see when you're getting those little messages, you're getting those little things, and you expand on something. So it's wonderful to see that.
I love doing through video because of that way, because you can look at my face and it's as though I'm talking to you. And I did find that there is a lot of tarot videos on YouTube, and not that they're bad videos or anything, but they're hands. You never get to see the person's face. And I always feel kind of a disconnect with them because I want to look at the person who's talking to me. I want to be able to see their eyes and see their face and their expressions, and it makes it more personal, and it's a stronger connection. Also, I was going to ask, do you know your moon and your rising sign? Because once in a while, if your sun sign isn't hitting it on the mark with you, some months your moon or your rising sign may have more of a connection with you than your sun sign.
And I would like to say yes because I know I do, but now that I'm on the spot, I couldn't tell you if my life depended on it. I will have to, I got to do that, and I do astrological stuff. I've got the books and I do charts and I've done for other people, but I tend to, let myself go.
I thought I knew my moon and my rising sign, but I was talking to an astrologist at Next Millennium when I was doing tarot readings in there last Friday. And someone figured my sun and my sun and my rising sign wrong.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I thought they were both Scorpio, but when she's looking at my date of birth and my time and everything, I'm going to be connecting with her later. She says, "This doesn't sound right." She says, "Give me your information and we're going to figure this out." So I'll let you know when I find out what my
Okay, good. So then I don't feel so bad. Thank you so much. You just totally got me off the hook. That's just too much fun. But yeah, those are wonderful. And like you said, I really do agree too that being able to see you when you're to see your face and not just your hands when you're doing it really helps people make a connection. So folks in chat, if you haven't checked it out, I will again make sure these links are up, but you can find it. What is it they look for on YouTube? What is your channel?
It's Amethyst 1957, www.youtube.com/amethyst with a capital A 1957.
Okay. So if somebody wants
You know,
to
all of these links are found at the top of my website, The Witch's Corner. My links to YouTube and the Amazon page and the blog, if they go to ladyamethyst.com, you can pretty much find everything there.
That's great. That's wonderful because that makes it easier than, traveling through 100 different
Mhm.
ways to get there. Good, wonderful. So on your tarot books, which one of those? I mean, I'm sure you want to recommend both of them. Which one would you recommend somebody to start with?
That would probably be Tarot A Witch's Journey, which was published. Oh, that was published way back in 2010 with Labyrinth House Publishing. It's more of a textbook form, and it's very in depth. I use it actually as a textbook for some online classes, and I'm going to be revising those, and it's time to come up with some new material there. And I'm also working on a new tarot book that I want to have bigger and better and packed with more information and more user-friendly to the beginner and more enlightening to those who are experienced but still want to pick up a book. And I'm going to be working on that this year, and I'm hoping to hand that off to John Hunt by the end of this year or the beginning of next. So it's like new material is coming. It's just my life is like in such a flurry right now. It is so hard for me to concentrate on anything because there's just so much going on here at home, and it makes things a little difficult. But I'm going to put my nose to the grindstone and really get with it. And on this next tarot book, I've never had a tarot book that was illustrated, and I had thought about in my mind, trying another publisher, but I just can't do it. I have grown so attached to John Hunt Publishing, and I love my editors, and I adore my publicist. And I just enjoy working with them so much that I think that I'm just going to stick with that company. So that's where my new book will be coming out. And books by John Hunt, by the way, just as a side note, they are sold worldwide. It's a worldwide publishing company. You can walk into any bookshop anywhere in the world, and if they don't have it on the shelf, they can order it for you. And that's what bookstores do. They're also on Amazon. They're on Barnes and Noble. All the places, all the fine bookstores for fine book things. So I'm kind of looking forward to finishing that and getting some new material out there and some new online lessons too. So it's like busy, busy, busy.
Yes, I know you are. You are always busy, and that's why I really appreciate you taking the time out to chat with us tonight too. Um, and that sounds great. Actually, that was the first one of the books that I got from you was the Witch's Journey, and I absolutely love the way you teach how to connect with the cards there. It's not and it's something that when people have asked me, I don't want to say I stole your material because I didn't, but yeah, the little book that comes with it,
Mm-hmm.
you put it away. And that's what I tell
Yeah.
people. You've got to yes, you can study what they're supposed to mean, but don't try to just understanding it and actually looking at the pictures. And that's why it's important to find a deck that speaks to you. Now, for some people, they can pick up a pack of regular playing cards and do it. I'm a little more visual. That stuff I'm like a what, a who, yeah, no, I can't do that. But I love the being able to visualize in the different decks and finding something that really talks to me. Because one time you pick it up and you see this, and the next time you pick it up you see that. So it's not really ever, you know, the
Oh,
same every time.
no, no, it is constantly changing. And the first book was written 6 years ago. I've grown myself a lot in tarot. So I have a lot of different things to say, and I have new aspects and new ways of looking at things. And you are so right that every time you look at a card, and sometimes what flashes, what it triggers in your intuition, absolutely has nothing to do with the card. I don't know where this comes from. I don't really know how it works. And I don't think anyone could really scientifically tell you how it works, but it just does. And it's amazing. And you were talking about like not being able to use a regular deck of cards because there's not enough illustration or pictures
For
to
me.
trigger you.
Hmm.
And sometimes you'll find tarot decks that way too.
Yes.
I found some tarot decks where the suits are just simply like the swords will be two swords on the page or three swords on the card, and with no other illustration. And then, I don't know, I'm sure there's people that can pull from that, but I love a myriad of color and objects and scenery and texture. And you never know what little tiny thing will pop off of there, at you. So that's my favorite cards, too. Do you know why people can read with a plain deck of playing cards? It's connected. The suits in a tarot deck are actually kind of a spin-off, or was the playing cards a spin-off from the tarot? I'm not sure, but it's the four suits,
Right.
and the suits match up. And I know there are people that can do that, but like I said, I need a little bit more of a trigger.
Yeah, and I think that the people that can do that, those are, and I don't want this to come out wrong in any way, but I think they're so gifted in connecting with their higher power, with their spirit or whatever, that it doesn't matter to them because they get the visions in their heads. And I think some people get that. It's like listening to, so, kind of mediumship way. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
I
Like
think that.
people who can sit down and read you with nothing. They don't need it. I had a lady walk into the shop where I work one day, and she stood on the other side of the counter and she read me with nothing. And it was absolutely amazing. I envy people who can do that,
And there
but
are.
I'm not gifted enough to do that.
No, I'm not. I'm not usually. I mean, sometimes. I mean, I am. And this is not about me, but I am empath. And then certain things. Sometimes I'm very in tune. I mean, there's days that I'm walking around the grocery store and know what people are thinking, and and I can read people, but it's not like an effort. Sometimes I feel like if I'm making that effort, I kind of stifle myself. So when I get cold stuff from just random people, I just take it as spirit needs me to know this to know how to deal with them. But for people that can turn that on and off, I mean, it's amazing to me. There are some really gifted readers out there, and when you find one, you know it. You know when it's genuine. And I'm hoping that things like this and discussions like you and I are having will help people find those that are not the genuine article and be able to recognize signs and tells from them. I mean, because I really think it's about the people that are getting readings need to be educated. What is a reading, how to get a good one, how to, but you need to understand that, there's a lot of fraud out there. And, and memorization and people, memorizing because the book says this card means that you are going to go on a vacation and blah. If they're reading like that, no, now, it's okay if they're starting out and practicing and they're telling you I'm practicing. That's different.
Mhm. There's also another thing. A good reader will know when to tell someone, yes, I'll read for you. You need the reading. And no, I won't read for you because you need a therapist.
Right.
This is Sometimes you get people that come to you that have a lot of issues going on, and sometimes they are so far out in left field, they need professional help. They do not need a tarot reader. And
No,
if you're really honest, you will tell them that.
absolutely.
Send them where they need to go.
Yep. Absolutely. Because, there are plenty, there's those professional reading getters. You know what I'm saying? They're always getting readings and they're getting that reading and this reading and whatever. And that's just not. you don't need that much. Yeah, and trying to find those people, that makes things a little tough. Okay, well we have come up to our first commercial break time. So we have a lot more interesting things to talk about. So especially some new stuff that you're doing, Amethyst, and we'll come back to that in just a minute. Y'all stick around to hear some words from our wonderful sponsors, and we'll see you in just a minute. Thanks. Looking for authentic pagan wares? Then check out Onyx Emporium, where they offer an eclectic mix of metaphysical and spiritual related items, handcrafted using old recipes and traditions, where everything is created in small batches by authentic and experienced practitioners. Their promise to customers is authenticity. From witchy items, conjure goods, setting of lights, to a wide selection of magical and conditioned oils. Also handcrafted wooden grimoires and journals, made to order magical candles in all shapes, sizes, and intents. From angel kits to gree-gree, herbs and curios, from naughty to nice and everything in between. Many items are custom made, so they are uniquely yours. Special orders welcome, and if you have an idea for something you're not finding, they're happy to work with you. Need an oil that's not listed? A spell you can't find? Looking for that hard-to-find herb or curio? They probably have it, or they can make it. Visit them at onyxmoonemporium.com or find them on Facebook. Onyx Moon Emporium. From angels to Zen, find everything for your magical life. I'm going to share with you a company founded on passion. A passion dreamed into existence by two lightworkers to share the gift of holistic healing with the world. Acting on the belief that infusing ritualistic components like the use of crystals and moon cycles, Reiki and more, enhances the quality and energetic profile of their alchemic creations and their spiritual workings. A passion for the rare and unique that touches all they create and do. What is this wonder-filled place, you ask? It's the altruistic apothecary, a place of magical items, like rune sets, god and goddess statues, amulets and talismans, incense, balms, bath salts, and more. A place of spiritual guidance and healing from an intuitive medicine woman, holistic health practitioner, and Reiki master, offering spiritual medium readings, rune readings, healing sessions, and more. It's there. They're ready. The door is open. All you have to do is ask, and they will share with you all the secrets they possess to help you on your path. Find them on Facebook or on their website, www.altruisticapothecary.com, altruisticapothecary.com. Wonder awaits you. Good evening and welcome back. Thanks for listening to a few words from our sponsors. And in case you're just joining us, this is Onyx Moon, and you are listening to Something Witchy here on PBNR Radio. And my special guest is Lady Amythyst Raine. And we have been talking tarot. We talked a lot about tarot. So we're going to kind of change directions a little bit. Because, like I said, she's not only a witch, but she's a conjure woman. And she's got a great new thing that she's offering, and she has such a unique take on it, and I know her stuff works well. So let's talk about your new candle services that I saw.
Okay, yes, it is a candle altar service that I'm offering, and you'll find more information at ladyamethyst.com. What it is, it's also known as setting the lights, and it's having me prepare a prayer candle or a spell candle for you and for whatever your intention is, in the traditional way with the herbs and oils and all of that, and I burn it for you. When it's all burned down, I create a mojo bag that I will mail back to you. I use the remnants of the candle. I use herbs that may have been sprinkled around the candle on the altar and other items that were used. And so I create and consecrate a mojo bag, and I mail that back to you so you can keep it in a safe and secret place, or you can carry it on your person, or you can sleep with it under your pillow, whatever the intention was and however best it is works. That's what you would do with it. So it's not that you just pay me $20 to burn a candle and you never see or hear from me again. I actually create the mojo bag with all of the remnants left over from the spell, and you will receive that. So it's very important when you order your candle, your spell candle, that you give me an address when you fill out your PayPal information so I can mail this back to you. And it's terribly fun to do. I love dressing candles.
I'm right there with you, sister. Yep.
I know the energy when you get them all made up and like you're burning them, even though the intentions are for other people, it's like you can feel the energy in the house, and it's amazing, and I love it, and it just feels all special and full of spirit.
And that's when you're doing it right. And see, that's the thing. There's a lot of people that, it's hard to trust somebody with some of that information, but I can vouch for you, and I know your magic works. And they need to follow you on YouTube for all your other stuff too, not just your astrological stuff, but you've got videos up there about all sorts of good stuff. Um, and it is different, yes. I love candle magic too. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Um, Absolutely. And you're right, when you're working candle magic and you're working the spell, and you can, especially if you're doing for prosperity or blessings or healings and stuff like that, you really raise that positive vibration in your own space, because you're putting your stuff in it, and it makes it real.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. And I love the idea. I mean, I've never seen anybody else do with the little mojo bag with the ingredients. I would never have thought to do that. And that's really great.
Well, I guess it seemed natural to me because if I burn spell candles for myself, that's what I do a lot of times. So it just seemed natural to carry that on and outward and do it for whoever I'm burning the spell candle for.
That's really great. Do you use the jar candles, or do you use open candles? What do you use? What is your favorite?
My favorite to use for that or for anything where it's going to burn over several days is those tall glass candles. They're
Okay.
enclosed in glass. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I have a video at my YouTube that shows you how to dress a candle. And my girls sat down at the table. You can't see that on the video, but they were like, they're dressing their candles. They're doing their thing with me. So there is a video on there if you want to learn how to dress a spell candle. You'll find it at my YouTube channel.
Ah. I've got a question in chat. It says, Lady Amethyst, do you use double-ended candles?
I have not yet, only because they're expensive where I'm at, and I don't have access to them unless I go into Omaha.
Double-ended. So now I'm going to ask a stupid. What the heck is a double-ended candle? Are we talking about like the red and black that are? But are they actually, you burn them from both sides, or?
I have seen it done actually, and it's kind of like that. It's like what did this one lady that I knew? She had like a red and black one, and when I was watching her, she just cut the end off of one and she burned it from one way. I have never worked with double-ended candles myself, and that's something new to look into. I got to look into that. Now you gave me something new to do. I love how people think that you know everything because you do this. We know everything.
Yeah.
If I want to do something new, or I don't know how something's done, or I hear about something I haven't done, I do what everybody else does. I research it, I Google it, I read up on it, and then you have to practice it.
Right.
And
Now, I've used like reversible candles, but they were in a jar, and it wasn't like two-ended. It was just like, it went from the red to the black, or the black to the red, or the green to
right.
the whatever. I've done a lot of those kind of double colored candles, but I don't know if that's the same thing. Maybe Terry can clarify what she's asking. Yes, Lady Terry, Reverend Terry Brookins is in the chat room. When you say double-ended candle, dear, are you talking about something that has a wick on both ends? Or are you talking about just like a reversible candle with two colors on the candle? So hopefully she will answer that in chat. And then I'll let you know. um, yeah, but candle magic is absolutely one of my favorite things. What are some of your favorite services to do?
Officiating weddings is a hoot and a riot, but I've learned that I can't watch the bride. I can't watch the bride walk down the aisle because my throat constricts trying to keep the lump down. So that's one of the drawbacks for that.
Um, it, okay, she says a wick on both ends and burned at both ends. Okay, no, I have never actually seen one of those either, Terry. So
Rick,
you're,
how
she's,
do that?
yeah, she's gonna have to set us up with something. But anyway, but yeah, no. So is the choking when you were looking at the bride? Is that because you want to tell her, run, don't do it, or is it?
Sometimes there are moments like that. Yes, it's an ironic thing. I'm in the midst, as most people, I don't know, I guess most people do know, I'm in the midst of a divorce right now. So I look at marriage kind of, I have two different visions of it. And sometimes I'm wondering, like, who the hell invented this thing? I don't know. It seems kind of weird to me. But anyway, there you go.
Yeah, well, you just, it was meant more as a joke, but I mean, part of reality as well for that.
Oh, it's true though, and people are so wrapped up in the fact, probably from our old culture, our Christian culture, and generations of that, where if you are with someone, you have to be with them until you die, no matter how miserable and unhappy and unhealthy it is. And pagans, I guess, have a different viewpoint on that. People come into your life and out of your life at different stages and ages for a reason, because everyone we connect with, we learn from, or we pick something up from their energy, or there's a lesson for us, or and everyone, I'm grateful for everyone who has come into my life, because I've actually learned something from everyone. I did, on Every Cat Has a Tale, I did a blog series on my mothers-in-law, and I've had 5 of them. So I wanted to know what I have learned from each woman. And some of these relationships were a lot more volatile and catfighty than others, and some were very calm. But from every woman, I found that I learned amazing things when I really sat down and started to think about it and to write. So there's a reason that we meet people, and there's a reason that our lives are connected and our energies intermingled. And then if that ends, it doesn't work, if people go their separate ways, your energy goes on. And you've probably grown as a person or having come in contact with them. That's how I look at it.
Absolutely, you hope you do. Everybody's either a blessing or a lesson, and sometimes they're a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you really do have to dig deep. And I do remember that series on your mothers-in-laws, and there was some very poignant stuff, but there was really some cute stuff as well that went into some of those interactions. I mean, so I recall reading on that blog because they were just too cute. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Goodness. I caught a frog somewhere. I don't know. It just kind of jumped into my throat a little bit. All right. So let's see. We've gone over your tarot, and we've gone over your astrology tarot, and then we've gone over some candle services. We've got another topic that we kind of want to get into. I know Lady Amethyst has noticed this, and so have I, and a lot of my other friends have noticed this, and this is something that, we skirt around the issue a little bit because it can be a little bit uncomfortable. But we're finding and noticing some really strange kinds of prejudice and racism in the pagan communities. And Amethyst, you've got to tell that one you were just telling me about, the lady,
Okay.
please, because
Okay, I'll start with that one. And first of all, I want to clarify, I will never use the term reverse racism. Racism is racism. It doesn't matter who the target of it is. It's wrong, and it's unpleasant, and it's unhealthy. So to me, racism is just racism. And I have seen this both ways over the last month. And I'm going to start with a lady that just contacted me probably within the last 7 to 10 days. And she was so enamored with Wicca. She had just discovered it. And she was just in wonder of it and asking all kinds of questions. And the end of her message, she was so sad. She said, I wanted to get into this, and this is so beautiful, and I feel such a connection with it. But I was told Wicca is for white people. And I about fell out of my chair when I read the end. Obviously, this was a black woman who was told she can't practice Wicca because Wicca is for white people. I don't know what idiot would have given her that information. And I don't know how anyone can tell anyone of any race you can practice this spirituality or this spirituality can't be part of your life. Nobody can tell someone what to believe or how to practice their own personal rituals or day-to-day living on a spiritual level. And race has nothing to do with spirituality as far as I'm concerned. It's the opposite end of this spectrum. I run onto a blog, and it was written by a black woman who is also into hoodoo and conjuration. And she stated that white people shouldn't and couldn't do hoodoo because we're stealing from their culture and because we're doing it wrong by implementing maybe other practices from other beliefs with it. Now, I am not an academic, but hoodoo to me is very different from voodoo. I know that voodoo does have cultural ties to Africa, which still, and then hoodoo, when the black people came to the South and they're practicing their religion, and it became a mixture of the ethnicities and the cultures that were surrounding them. There was American Native shamanism. There was, from the Irish, there was a lot of Celtic spirituality, plus the French Catholicism, and that's where there's your saints, and of course then the voodoo religion, and it was all kind of, as I understand it, in the South and then the Louisiana area, it became a mixture. And also, as I understand it, hoodoo is like pure magic. It's voodoo is more of a religion, and they have their gods and goddesses and more formal rituals. But hoodoo is just pure magic, and it's like already a mixture from so many cultures and spiritualities and traditions. And you know, as I said, I'm not an academic, but that's how I understand it. But it just left me kind of speechless with my jaw open when I read that, to have someone tell me that I couldn't do the things I love to do, the things that connect me with spirit, the things that ground me, the things that I believe move my life in a positive way. To have someone tell me I can't do that because I'm white. So as you see, the racism works both ways. And it's just so fundamentally wrong on so many levels, and it was kind of shocking too, because I like to think of pagans as these free and easy hippie love children, kind of like a new generation of the 1960s free love child hippie movement, where it's peace and love and everything, but it's not. It is not that way. All of these terrible issues that we have in our society, it works its fingers down into even our religion and our spirituality and our paganism. And I think it's rather sad, and I really don't have any formulation of how to fix it.
I don't know that there can be, and you're right. Voodoo is more of a religion, but it was a mixture, at least New Orleans style voodoo. I mean, Haitian voodoo and New Orleans voodoo, while there are some similarities and a lot of similarities in a lot of the basics, they are somewhat different because of how they came together. And hoodoo, in my estimation, that's like mountain granny magic. That's anybody magic. That is magic. These people were Okay, I'm going to use another term that generally turns people into blithering idiots to climb all up on me, because there's this form of thought that says, uh, we've got people that claim to be Christian witches, and that's a really hard line to try to meld. But it depends on what their view of Christianity is. If their view of Christianity is love one another and try to do right by people, and if it's not the dogma of the organized religions, then who's to tell them that they can't practice rituals and magic? Because it's really kind of, I've always considered a lot of spell work as a form of prayer. It doesn't matter to me if I call it a prayer or a spell. People will ask, oh, so-and-so's sick, I could say, okay, I'm sending Reiki. Or I can say, oh, yeah, prayers or whatever. Because it doesn't matter to me what you label something. I know what it is in my spirit. But hoodoo has always been, Southern conjure, hoodoo, root work. I don't care what color you are. It's not just it doesn't belong to any one person. It belongs to whoever it calls to. And it is so frustrating to see that kind of silliness and the misinformation out there. I cannot imagine that poor woman feeling so drawn to something and somebody telling them that she'd have to be white to practice. I mean, that is the ultimate in stupidity. That's the kind of misinformation that I am seeing in group and page, and then the ugliness comes out of people and the hatred, and it's like, are you people voting for Trump because that's how you're acting? You're acting full of hate and ugliness, just like these white right-wing crazy politician people. And it's like infecting the pagan paths with the sense of entitlement and sense of my way is the only way. And when I hear that, it just flies up all in my face, because isn't that why most of the people that have come to paganism from other paths, isn't that the reason they found us? Is because they didn't want to be told how to worship or what was right and wrong with what they were doing or who they were praying to or communing with? Isn't that how they found us to begin with? And then for us to turn around and start acting like that amongst each other, it is very sad. It is very, very disheartening.
It is. I sent this. I returned the message to this lady, and I told her absolutely. I welcomed her into the Wiccan community. I told her how it really is, and I said, you don't want to listen to a remark like that. That is as stupid as saying that only Italians can be Catholic, because that's where the Roman Church was birthed.
There you go.
And so I hope she jumps on her pagan bandwagon and embraces it. And she really sounded like such a lovely lady. And she was just so thrilled with this new discovery.
Right. And that's good. I hope she does, realize that, just because one completely, I have to be very careful here because, we don't cuss on the station. The one blithering idiot said something that stupid to her. I hope she realizes, that is not the way a lot of us are. And I'm glad she reached out to you, because I'm sure you were able to counter it in a way that was not, that was gentle enough to make her understand that, no, we're not all like that, and that isn't the way it works.
Well, hopefully it was successful. That's what I tried to do.
I absolutely believe you probably were. Okay, we talked through, so I'm going to, we're going to break here for a moment. I'm going to let our sponsors do some talking to you for just another couple seconds, and we will be back with Lady Amethyst in just a minute. Stick around, folks.
Since 2014, the Pagan Business Network has been building resources by bringing together pagan-owned and pagan-friendly businesses. With multiple resources available, it doesn't matter if you're an artisan, musician, vendor, author, publishing company, blogger, podcaster, event planner, or any other organization. We have the resources here to help you succeed. Becoming a member is easy and affordable, even for the smallest of budgets. With your membership, you will get Business Spotlight, which is an article written in an interview style, complete with details and photos. social media sharing through the Pagan Business Network, a blog roll, a membership card for discounts at participating businesses. You'll also get discounts on tickets to all Pagan Business Network events and so much more. You can check us out at paganbusinessnetwork.com for more information.
Have you been searching for that perfect candle for your project or working? How about for a specific intent? Something other than the big box store candles made from mystery wax? Then look no further. Visit the Waxing Witch on Etsy for the best selection of handcrafted candles anywhere. Pillars, votives, shaped, plus some giftable candles you won't believe. All their candles are made in-house using a variety of waxes: soy, palm, beeswax, paraffin, and all are clearly noted in the listing, so there's no mystery wax here. From a whole line of saints candles to archangel working candles, and you have to see the new Wicked Wonderland spell candles. They're made to work wickedly quick and wonderfully easy. Or the fun new Sanderson sister pillars. Those are a hoot. And I can't forget their skull candles. These are phenomenal. The burn is beautiful, and I really won't work a trick without one. But that's not all. Any candle can be customized with a scent of your choice, or even color if you prefer something different. They love special orders and will work with you to make your candle the way you want it. They do unity candles, hand fasting candles, or candles made for events, so don't hesitate to ask. You won't find folks easier to deal with, and they all come from their little shop on a Louisiana bayou. So do yourself a favor. Check them out on Etsy at The Waxing Witch. That's The Waxing Witch, witch spelled W-Y-T-C-H. Tell them PBNR sent you for a little surprise with your order.
Looking for that special item for your mantle or that one-of-a-kind gift for the love of your life? Visit us at Sleeping Griffin. We offer many items from pyrography to metaphysical supplies. Choose one of our regular designs on a keepsake box, crystal grid, or even design your own. Need a little help with your practice? Choose from our selection of organic, hand-mixed binding salts. Come and see our Etsy shop at Sleeping Griffin or visit our website at sleepinggriffin.net, where spirituality and functionality come together.
The Magic Jukebox Podcast presents Caldera Fest Pagan Music Festival, May 26th through May 30th in Lafayette, Georgia. This event will feature the best in pagan music and over 100 vendors and workshops, featuring Tuatha Day, Dave the Bard, S.J. Tucker, Wendy Rule, Digis Christ Superdrum, Dragon Ritual Drummers, and many more. Also featuring the official release of the Green Album. This eclectic compilation of thoughts and sounds will feature various acts performing at Caldera Fest, benefiting the Rainforest Trust. Come on out and have the time of your life. Caldera Fest Pagan Music Festival, May 26th through 30th at Cherokee Farms in Lafayette, Georgia. For more information, visit calderafest.com today. See you there.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And I just played that little spot for Caldera Fest. I have to tell you, you have to check this out. It's posted all over Facebook. I will be posting it all over Facebook. I get to go to this. This is like Pagan Woodstock. 29 or 30 bands. It's amazing. The price is insane low. Okay, it's $100. But you buy 2 tickets, you get 1 free. So 3 people can go for $200, and that includes your camping. That includes all the workshops. I mean, they have food there, but you could bring your own because it's camping. But this is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And beyond all these bands, I have to tell you, I will be there. So you can actually come meet me at the PBN table, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be there in Vendor Row. So you can come talk to the people of PBN, and you will absolutely not be happy if you miss this once-in-a-lifetime thing. This is the biggest thing I have ever seen with music, getting ready to go on. And the gentleman I spoke to the other night, the organizer, David Banash, was amazingly wonderful, and you are not going to want to miss these bands. So many of them that you just can't even imagine. So please, do yourself a favor and check this out. Memorial Day weekend, if you can go, try to get there, because you will not get another opportunity like this for a while. Anyway, okay, right back into talking about some really crazy prejudice in the pagan community that we're seeing, which is really, really sad. It's a shame when people do that to other people for no good reason.
Oh, well, it is. And I don't know who would ever think that they have any authority or any sublime knowledge of spirituality to even tell somebody that. It's just you have to wonder where their mindset is, and that everything they're practicing and doing it, obviously it's not sinking in.
Exactly.
There's something wrong.
I call those the pretenders or the posers, because they're obviously not really making a spiritual connection. I think it's become hip to be, I see these, we were talking about it with a friend today, that these people that claim to be Reiki people, and yet they have no genuine clue what it's really supposed to be about. It's like, my friend was telling me about her friend that was taking the credit. She's doing all this Reiki stuff. They go to these Reiki shares and the Reiki heals, and this woman is getting a, like the bozo head over her doing this Reiki, that she didn't know anything about 2 years ago, right? But she's taking credit for it, and we're like, wait, what? You are not healing people. You are the conduit for which the energy from universe that we are all have access to. You are the conduit for that to go through you to do that work, but it's not you. And people that they don't get it, they get these big heads about, we're doing this, it's not you. If you become a good conduit, then yes, take pride in the fact that you can connect and you can help somebody by being a conduit. Not that you help them by, oh, my hands are magic. No, that isn't what it is, folks.
Some of the most spiritual people I've met are people that by our society standards, you probably wouldn't look at them twice. Very plain, quiet, shy, reserved, modest. You wouldn't notice them. They're so quiet. And some of the most spiritual people that I've met are actually that way.
And I think some of them have to be, because there's so much ick flying around that I would think that, being a little bit reserved and not putting their neck out was probably like a self-defense mechanism for them. If they're that open to things, they're going to have to shield themselves somehow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep, shielding and grounding is another very important factor. Even in working tarot or candle services and stuff like that. I mean, that's something that is a lacking, that people lack the skills.
Right, and I'm terrible at grounding. I have to tell you, I am so spacey, and I have had this very wise lady who used to bring her staff into Next Millennium, and she told me, dear, you have to ground. And she would actually hand me her staff,
right?
And she would say, you need to hold this for a few minutes, because I get so keyed up and I am so spacey, naturally spacey anyway. And she says it's because I do what I do and I forget to ground myself.
And that is a problem, because we do that. I do it myself. I know that when I've been doing a lot of extra, crafting or creating or whatever, and I don't ground, I mean, I've had people tell me the same thing. It's just, hello, take your shoes off, go stand in the yard. I'm like, why? Oh, yeah.
I went in the backyard and I laid down on my back underneath one of my trees. I think the neighbor probably thought I'd flipped my There I was.
Isn't it fun messing with neighbors?
Yes, it is. Like when you hang voodoo dolls from the trees, I tell you, they just scatter like rabbits.
Oh, that's rich. I would love to see that. Yeah, and unfortunately, my neighbors around here wouldn't look twice at me, because it's, they just don't anymore. They've seen things. No, it's just, they won't even look twice anymore. So it's no fun messing with them. Maybe if I start taking a shovel out in the backyard at night, they might start questioning it again. But anyway, we're getting close to the end of our show, folks. I've had a wonderful time, Amethyst. We've got to get you back on for some other stuff. We will come up with some fun topics and get you back on to chat with us. I am so appreciative of you taking the time to come on tonight. Is there anything that we didn't cover that maybe you want to give a shout out to about or anything for the listeners?
Not that I can think of. I wish that if there's any woman out there who hasn't bought The Spiritual Feminist, that you would pick up a copy, because it's just so full of woman stuff and ways of connecting and reconnecting through your through women's gatherings, and just through our mundane wedding showers, baby showers, just special ways that we can connect on a spiritual goddess level. And that's what it's all about. So go get that book.
Absolutely, absolutely go get that book. And maybe we can do a little bit of a book review one time with it. We can,
Okay.
go through some of it and, hit some high points and discuss a little bit more in depth that book, because, I mean, it's a wonderful book. And folks, if you don't get it, you're really missing out. Sound like a plan?
Sounds good to me. I think it sounds fun. I would love to do that.
Absolutely. Okay, so once again, this has been Something Witchy with Onyx Moon and my special guest, Lady Amythyst Raine. And again, I would love to thank you all for coming and joining us tonight and hanging out for a little while. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing next week yet. Normally I would tell you, join me next week, but I'm a little bit behind in that. So be looking on my Facebook page and keep an eye out on the Something Witchy page. And don't forget P3, my other show on Saturday night at 9 o'clock, my Pagan Paranormal Perspective. And we're having a lot of fun with that one too. Once again, thank you and good night from Something Witchy.